sort of through Space Force through your boy Elon
Oh
with
yeah.
the Starlink.
Hmm.
So had the storm coming through. I don't know the name of the storm. I don't know if it's named still or not, but the cable crapped out on me. And interestingly enough, the cable's been crapping out a bunch lately, and been thanking my lucky stars over and over and over that I'm able to help the um, the richest man in the world put a few more dollars in his pocket each month. But I will tell you, man, that Starlink is decent. It's
That's
good
cool. And
stuff.
how do you sign up for that? Just go to their site and say,
The
"Hey, I need."
Starlink, dude, it had the coolest sign up thing. You get this app on your phone, right? And it's
Yeah.
free. And you get the app on your phone, and it tells you, okay, go outside. And so now look up at the sky, and then you do the phone all over the place, and it shows you where all the little satellites are. And then
Cool.
it tells you whether or not you have any obstruction, like trees and houses. Gee, those might get in the way.
Hmm.
And then it tells you that there's a good spot or try a different spot. So then the best spot that we found was on our deck, on the second floor, right on the corner. I'm standing there. It's like, hey, it's a great spot. Then you just order the equipment and you sign up. I mean, it's
Hmm.
like $150 a month, but we got the one that you can take the satellite with you anywhere
Oh,
and
that's
reset
cool.
it up anywhere. It's about it's like $150 a month, and the speeds are about a fifth on the download as they are for cable. So I can get up around 200 megabits or whatever, millibits, whatever.
Not nothing.
And then the download is about half what cable is, because I can get a download speed of like 25,
Hmm.
and the highest I get with cable is around 45, 50. So that's a good deal. I mean, and even unlike old cable, like old satellite dish stuff where it's cloudy outside, you ain't watching nothing but reruns on the local channel. Um, it works. I've never really had it go out because of weather. A couple glitches
Huh.
here and there, but nothing. It's been and the little um satellite dish even has a heater in it, so that if it snows or it's icy, it
It
stays warm
melts.
enough that the snow and the ice melt off of the thing.
It's
So
kind of cool.
it's kind of cool, man. So I'm always cheering when Homeboy launches new satellites, you know.
Yeah.
Susan says they've used Keith's camping very successful. Yeah, and a lot of people have used them, like you go RVing and stuff like that. It's a cool thing.
Oh,
So anyway, Stu, I have a presentation today. We have a presentation. I'm doing kind of a practice run, Stu. Doing a little practice run for something I have working
cool.
next week. And
I'm
so
all ears, Jim. All
I
ears.
thought
Ready to learn.
I thought it would be fun for us. Just making sure my little thing. So I do have a little PowerPoint that I'm training from that you're not seeing because it's not quite done yet. But I'd be very curious, those of you who are here with us live, if you want to ask questions, that's cool. So this is you're helping me to make this amazing. In this particular case, my talk shouldn't be more than 30 minutes long. So I'm also going to have a pitch in it too, which I'm not going to do here. So let's say that my pitch would last 5 minutes. So we want to keep this around 25 minutes, and then we'll have some. I'm sure Stu will have some questions at the end, and then we'll go from there. Is that cool?
I am ready.
Okay, so here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, I want to talk to you today about your next $1 million offer. And one of the things that I've learned over the years, and a lot of people know me from sales copywriting and sales letters. One of the things that really changed my life was back in 2001. I learned how to write a sales letter, and I took a book that I'd been selling that had been doing okay up overnight by introducing a sales letter to the process. Sales went up 250% overnight. I started making enough money to pay a house payment, 2 car payments, and an electric bill by selling an ebook. That was pretty cool. And interestingly enough, what you need to understand is that sales letters actually don't make people buy. I thought that learning how to write a sales letter was what changed my life, but it wasn't. What I didn't realize is that a sales letter is an offer delivery vehicle. Now, think about that for a second. Sales letters don't make people buy. What they do is give you an organized way to actually make an offer. And so, once you understand that the whole purpose of a sales letter is to make it so that you're able to make an organized offer, that puts everything into a different perspective. Now, why do I say that? Well, because as I got better at writing sales letters, my results actually, you would think better sales letters, sales get better every single time, but that's not what happened. I got very good at writing sales letters, but my results from those sales letters were inconsistent. And so, I was using the right formula, I was using the right words, I was making an organized sales argument, but my results, sometimes it fell massively flat, and other times it was outrageously successful. So, what was the difference? So, looking back and analyzing what happened when I was trying to sell is it wasn't the quality of the sales letter, because if anything, my ability to write those sales letters was getting better every single time. It was the quality of the offer that made the difference. Let me say that again. It wasn't the sales letter. It wasn't my ability to convince people to buy. It was the quality of the offer that I made to people and how well it resonated that made the difference. And when I made an amazing offer in a certain way, it crushed. I made tons of money. But when I was only worried about me, when I was only worried about the money I was going to make, usually my offers actually sucked. I mean, I'm just going to say it to you straight. They sucked. And so making an offer in a certain way was the key, not the ability to sell. So if you're somebody who's sitting there right now saying to yourself, man, I suck at sales, I hate to sell, I hate talking to people, I'm scared to talk, all the stuff, which is actually very typical, very normal for professional people, entrepreneurs, teachers, trainers. You don't like to sell, you just want to help people. Well, then what I'm telling you is don't worry about getting better at sales. Get better at making offers. It's like the Godfather says, I make him an offer he can't refuse. And so if you make and I can tell you from personal experience, if you make somebody an amazing offer, your sales copy can be mediocre or even sucky, and you will still make sales because people will buy in spite of your sales letter. So you are going to leave here today with the formula to make an offer in a certain way to get amazing results. You are going to leave here with that. And probably the best way to teach you the formula is to start off with an example, teach you the formula, and then come back to the exact same example so you can see what's what, how it works. So I'm going to use the example of 7-day ebook. And I've been selling 7-day ebook since August of 2001. That's a long time. If that was a kid, that kid would be drinking for a couple of years now legally. All right. God knows how many years illegally. But 7-day ebook, the main component or the main promise of that book was how to write and publish your own outrageously profitable ebook in as little as 7 days, even if you can't write, can't type, and failed high school English class. Main offer is basically how to get a really cool result despite all this crap. So the main component of that offer was training, whether it be video or in print, on how to write a real book in a week. It also had some bonuses. So bonus number 1 was and still is how to take any credit card on the planet, how to take money, how to get people to pay you money through the internet. Number 2, bonus number 2 is 9 more ways to have your book done by next Friday, and 2 of them don't require any writing. Bonus number 3 is the ebook title wizard. Bonus number 4 is the ebook description wizard. So the ebook title wizard helps you come up with amazing titles for your book. The ebook description wizard writes your sales copy, whether it's for Amazon or on your own website. Total value of all that good stuff together, $469. Today's price, $29. So what did I offer? Got a main component, and then I got bonuses. Keep that in mind. Okay, so how do you make a great offer? There's 4 main questions you got to answer. All right. Who are you selling to? What's their biggest problem? How can you remove objections and obstacles? And how can you basically make them an offer they can't refuse as far as price? So, first thing, before we get into actually constructing it, let's talk for a second about the difference between an offer and an offer stack, because it's important to understand the difference between an offer and an offer stack. The offer is the big promise. So example of that would be how to write and publish your own outrageously profitable book in a week, even if you can't write, you can't type, and you failed school. The big promise is I'm going to show you how to do that. The offer stack is all the stuff they get, the deliverables to fulfill on the promise. So the offer is the big promise. If somebody asks you, hey, what are you selling? What's the offer? The offer is I'm going to show you how to write a book in a week and then use it to build your business. Oh, cool. Well, how do you do that? Well, and here's all the stuff. You're going to get the training. You're going to get this bonus, this bonus, this bonus, this bonus. That's how I'm going to help you do that. That's how I'm going to fulfill on the promise. It's important to understand the difference between an offer and an offer stack. An offer is the big promise. The offer stack is what they get. So how do you make a great offer? Comes down to a specific formula. All right. So step number 1 is you got to define who are you selling to. Define your who. Who is your target audience? What are their hot buttons? What are their desires? What are their fears? What are their objections? Not demographics. This is not, my audience is 45-year-old men. No, it's people with specific desires, fears, objections. What makes them tick? Who are they? What makes them tick? So a good example of that would be C-suite executives who want to know better leadership techniques, or C-suite executives who are afraid that their team sucks and they can't function very well. What are their hot buttons? Desires, fears, objections. Those are the big ones that you want to focus in on. Second step is you want to define their biggest problem. What is the biggest problem they have? But very specifically, they know they have the problem. They know they want to solve the problem. They're actively trying to solve the problem, and they're willing to pay to solve that problem with time, attention, and money. It's not just that a lot of people have problems that they're not going to spend. A lot of people are overweight and they're spending money on food that makes them fat. And they know they got the problem. They want to solve it. They're actively trying to solve it, and they're willing to pay it. And you might say, how do you know they're willing to actually pay? How do you know that somebody's actually willing to pay for this? Other people are already selling them something. You're not trying to invent a brand new market. They're already out there selling. All right. Step number 3. We are going to remove their major objections and obstacles when it comes to solving their problem. We are going to remove the major objections and obstacles. Now, as a side note, when it comes to objections and obstacles, a lot of those are fear-based. So when you think, oh, objections, obstacles, what are those? Those are fears. And adults have 4 big areas that they're concerned about. All right. The biggest adult fears are looking stupid to yourself and others, okay, which is loss of face, making a mistake, which would cause them to look or feel dumb, either in front of themselves or others, getting stuck, i.e., don't know how to move forward, or wasting time, which is the loss of your most precious asset. Now, most people, interestingly enough, one of their biggest fears is not wasting money, because wasting money would make them look stupid. The core fear there is not wasting money, because money replenishes itself. It's looking stupid, making a mistake, getting stuck, or wasting time. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about fears and obstacles. So there are 4 typical objection or obstacle categories. All right. And they revolve around knowledge, skill, resources, and support. These are the main areas that they make specifically those objections. Okay. They fall into these categories. So knowledge, knowing something; skill, the ability to do something; resources is usually around they need something, and it's usually time, money, or relationships. Those are the main resource objections you will get: time, money, and relationships. I don't have the time to do this. I don't have the money I think I'm going to need to be able to do this. Or I don't have a list. I don't know people. I don't following on social media. And then support comes down to knowing or moving in the right direction, or being able to get unstuck. So step number 4 in the formula for making them an offer they can't refuse is basically make them a cash versus value offer they can't refuse. And that's typically referred to as selling dollars for dimes. I give you $1,000 worth of perceived use value, and I ask you for $97, a 10-to-1 ratio. So define your who, define the number 1 problem, remove objections, make them a cash value offer they can't refuse. Let's look at a real life example. So step number 1, define who you're selling to. So let's say we're selling to an entrepreneur or a professional who wants to write an ebook to sell or to use to establish authority. Who? Someone that wants to write a book. 2, define the biggest problem that you can solve. They don't know how to write a book. They got no clue how to write and publish a book or an ebook. Step 3, how can you remove objections around knowledge, skill, resources, or support? So knowledge, I don't know. The big one is I don't know how to write the book. But additional objections they have are I don't know how to get people to pay me for the book. I'm not a writer. I don't have any writing skills. I don't have the time to write a book. And I'm afraid I'm going to get stuck trying to sell it once it's written. Great. So here's the offer stack. Main component of 7-day ebook. Again, this is the same thing I just told you, but now you're looking at it from a different perspective. 7-day ebook, main component. I'm going to show you how to write a book in a week. Thousands of people have done it. Bonus number 1, I'm going to show you how to take any credit card on the planet. And you don't even need to know, you don't even have to have good credit in order to be able to do that. In fact, if you were bankrupt last week, you can still process credit cards. Bonus number 2, I'm going to show you 9 more ways to have your book done by next Friday. 2 of them require no writing at all. Okay, skill, that's knowledge, skill, gone. Bonus number 3, ebook title wizard. This is going to help you come up with amazing titles. Ebook number 4, bonus number 4, ebook description wizard. All right. So I don't know how all this other stuff, the resources, being able to do that. I don't have somebody to write sales copy for me. It addresses the main objections. So make them a cash price offer they can't refuse. Value $469. Now, where do I get that? From adding up the value of the course, adding up the value of all the bonuses. Today's price, 29 bucks. So let's do another example. So number 1, define who you're selling to. This is for my for sale by owner product. So who am I selling to? People that want to sell a house without an agent. Define their biggest problem. I don't know how to sell my freaking house. All right. I don't know how, but I know I need to. All right. So how can I remove objections? All right. Well, number 1, I'm going to knowledge. Their biggest objections are, I don't know how to market a house. Skill, I don't know how to negotiate. Resources, I don't have access to the MLS where all the other houses are. Support, I don't have access to forms or bankers or title people or lawyers or any of those people. So what is my offer for selling your home alone? Well, the main course is how to build a team and sell your house without an agent. I show them how to do it. I show them how to get bankers to climb all over themselves to help you, and attorneys and title companies too. Bonus number 1, how I did it. How I marketed and sold 2 houses myself without an agent in 30 days. Cover that on knowledge. Skill. How, bonus number 2, bonus report. How to get free property listing pages 11 different ways. So I don't have to have the skill. I also, in the book, teach them how to negotiate. Bonus number 3 is sample forms pack. Well, I don't have access to the forms. I don't have access to the stuff that I need. And bonus number 9, support. I cover that with a radio interview, 9 keys to successful selling. Now, what you notice is sometimes there's a little more emphasis on one than another, and that just depends on what your offer is. But again, comes to step number 4, total value of all this stuff added up on the sales page, $499. Today's price, 39 bucks. So let's recap the steps. Step number 1, define who you're selling to. Step number 2, define their biggest problem that you can solve. Step number 3, remove objections and obstacles. And step number 4 is make a cash price offer they can't refuse. When it comes to actually creating your offer stack, you have the main component, and this is the thing that solves the big problem. So this is your book, this is your coaching, this is your mastermind, this is your course, this is whatever it is that you are selling is the main part of your offer. Then you have a knowledge bonus, you have a skill bonus, you have a resource bonus, and you have a support bonus. And what you want to do is target the number one thing that holds them back in their mind in this area, in each of those areas. Okay. Now, it's basically the number one thing or things they're afraid they don't know, that they believe they can't do, that they believe they must have and don't have to succeed, and where they think they're going to need help, where they might get stuck and they might need somebody to help them out. So sometimes you might have one of these areas overloaded compared to the other ones. And that's fine. But you want to try to find at least one in each. Sometimes it might get addressed in the main thing. So then you're hitting the other objections with the bonuses. So at that point, I'm at the 22-minute mark. So I have some thoughts, and we'll talk afterwards, Stu, on some things that I might want to add, a couple of things in there. But I know we had some questions. I knew you had some questions, and then people might have some questions and some other stuff going on in here. And so, Stu,
Yes.
let's do. So that was 22 minutes in the presentation thing. So I was close, because if I got a 5-minute pitch, then I got 3 minutes of other stuff in there that I'll probably, once I get on stage, I'll be like, la, 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 and, start running down a tangent. So what questions you got?
I always have a problem with figuring out what I'm charging.
Okay.
So how do you figure that out? How do you know what to charge?
So that's a great question. When you're making an offer, how do you know what to charge? And there's a few different things you got to remember. Okay. Again, think about your audience. An audience of attorneys is going to be charged very differently than an audience of moms that are doing their, doing a something as a hobby. Is it also the reason why somebody's buying? Is it to make money, save time, avoid effort? Is it have a hard outcome? If you do this, this is going to help you to get more business, as opposed to a soft outcome. Hey, this is going to make you feel better. So that's, you gotta take that into consideration. Also, what are alternatives? Okay, what are alternatives as far as what are people paying for other stuff? I mean, how much does a book cost, Stu?
$20.
Yeah, so a book costs $20. So a book costs $20. That's why I'm not a big fan of just selling a book by itself and trying to make money. You want to have an offer that includes a book. Okay, so you got to you come at a couple different ways. You could come up with your offer ahead of time and say, okay, here's my offer. What's the perceived use value? And so what is going to be the cash value price? That's the price. You come at it that way. That price and what you should charge again, you got to kind of feel your way into it, but you also look at it realistically. If I'm selling a course that has 10 hours of my time in it, it has anything and everything you need to accomplish the objective. And if it were going to cost you $50,000 to hire somebody to do what I'm teaching you how to do, then I feel like I probably ought to charge $1,000 to $2,000 for that at a minimum, or maybe $5,000. It also depends on how much interaction people are having with you. You have to look at, okay, what is your hourly rate? If they're getting 10 hours of your actual time and your hourly rate is $500, then you got to charge at least $5,000 if you're doing it one-on-one. But then again, if your hourly rate is $500 and you're doing it for 200 or 300 people at the same time, you don't charge each of them $5,000. There's kind of a group thing that happens there. So you end up with, maybe $1,000, but you make $150,000. And so your hourly rate, if it's taking you 10 hours, your hourly rate would actually be $15,000, which is pretty good.
Mm.
So you got to feel your way into it if you come up with the offer. The other way to do it is to figure out, okay, I want to sell something for $997, or I want to sell something for $200. How can I give them $2,000 worth of value with this offer so it creates a win-win, win-win-win? So you start with the price point that you want to get and start stacking on value to create that offer until you're like, holy crap. And then it's like, whew, that's really freaking worth it. That's kind of what happens. So what you don't ever want to do is, that's worth $200. Well, it's worth $200, then you're going to have a hard time selling it for $200. If it's worth $2,000, you're going to have a real easy time selling it for $200. So the key is to figure out, how can I stack stuff on? How can I stack on value in order to make it feel like it's worth 10 times what I'm charging? So
All
I
right.
don't know if that helps or not, but
No, it helped a lot with that part. It's just now my value is the issue. So, you know, building up value, how do I, if I go too high with my value for my price, how do I negotiate value and pricing? Because something worth 5,000 and then I'm selling it for $10, people are saying,
well, yeah, that's stupid. I mean, you
yeah,
gotta, I firmly believe, despite what you might think on the news or most interactions on Facebook, most people are pretty smart. And so what you want to do is make them feel like they're getting a great deal, but it's not like one of those hypey come on things.
right,
So how can I build up value? Well, you can build up value by giving people basically more info or knowledge. Okay, so more, a class, a report, a podcast, a video, something like that. You can give them access to you, um, one-on-one or one-to-many. I prefer one-to-many. One of the fastest ways you can add value is just by doing a Q&A webinar, or by doing a Q&A call, or by doing, an FAQ thing where you just address everything. And so it's how long does it take you to do a 1 hour Q&A webinar? An hour. And that has a really high perceived value, especially if people can ask questions. So you can do it with additional info, you can do it with access, you can do it with critiques. So we do critique certificates sometimes. Sometimes we sell those, where, hey, send me your email, send me your sales letter, send me your ads. I'll look at them, I'll critique them, and I'll tell you what I think. You can also do video critiques. So I'll jump on, look at a sales letter, rip it to shreds. Though my buddy Anna did teach me that you're supposed to say something nice, compliment them, then you rip it to shreds nicely, and then you end on a positive. It's called a critique sandwich.
Yeah.
But like you do that with your video stuff, somebody will send you a video of them running or swimming or doing push-ups or whatever, and you critique it and send it back to them.
Yep.
So you add value by stacking stuff on in those four categories. Okay. Knowledge, skill, resources, and support. So like one of the things that we've done in the past, resources. Oh, I don't have a list. I don't have a following. Great. Get this done and we'll have you on the Jim and Stu show and you can tell your story. Well, it's going to get you some exposure. So anyway, that's how you do it. You just start stacking on stuff, and you stack on stuff that eliminates objections, not just stacking on stuff for the sake of stacking it on.
Gotcha. Hey, can you define the difference between the offer stack, like you're talking about, and the offer?
So again, the offer is the big promise. All right, it's the big promise, and that usually is to solve a problem. So example, how to write and publish your own outrageously profitable ebook in as little as 7 days, even if you can't write, can't type, and failed high school English class. There's a formula there, by the way. Big promise, exciting but reasonable time frame, without pain or without the need for skill. How to write and publish your own outrageously profitable ebook. Okay, that's payoff. Timing, 7 days. Even if you can't write, I'm not a writer. Even if you can't type, shit, I can barely do, 10 words a minute, two-fingered. And even if you failed high school English class, well, I ain't real bright. So I'm not a writer. I can't type, and I didn't do well in school with writing, but this dude's still telling me I can get it. All right. You got my attention. That's the offer. Now, what's the stack? The stack is the main deliverable and all the bonuses that you deliver to help them get the big promise, solve the problem. Okay. So offer is the big promise to solve the problem. The stack is all the stuff that they're going to use to do that, whether it's a product, whether it's a coaching, whether it's a freaking TRX, some physical product.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Stu.
What are my favorite 3-word coaching tips that you give is hook, story, offer.
Uh-huh.
Now, when you just said that offer, it was very close to a hook.
Mm-hmm.
Like you almost rehooked me
Mm-hmm.
with it. Is that part of the process?
It can be.
Yeah.
If you can make your offer the hook and the hook the offer, now you're cooking with gas.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you did that with your, 12 weeks to buds. A Navy SEAL, what's the subtitle of that? A Navy SEAL something, something, something?
Complete guide, Navy SEAL fitness.
Okay, complete guide to Navy SEAL fitness. 12 weeks to buds. That the offer is, I'm going to show you how to get ready for buds in 12 weeks. That's what you do. I mean, I've heard, famous Navy SEALs sitting around a
Yeah.
bonfire saying, "Oh, y'all did that. I just bought Stu's book." But I mean, yeah, owning the book and doing what the freaking book tells you are two very different things.
Absolutely.
But I mean, that's your oldest selling book, right? And still sells to this day, right?
Yes.
Because the hook was the offer, and the offer was the hook. So yeah.
Okay. So how can I identify any main problems with an offer then? That's something that I'm trying to solve for customers. How can I identify that problem if I have any problems with my offer?
So what's the number one problem you need to solve?
Yeah.
For people?
Yeah.
Okay. So
how can I identify that? Sorry.
So normally what you have to do is we're so close to it that it's hard for us to spot it. So there's a couple different things you can do. One is you can zoom out. What do I mean by that? Meaning, okay, you're here, and Stu's like, well, I can show him how to swim better. I can show him how to run better. I can show him, I'm cracking up because I watched that video that came with that book and it was really cool. But Stu was like 12 when he made it, or looked 12. And he's wearing this little shorty wetsuit and stuff, and he's running on the beach, and then you see him swimming away, and he's teaching you how to do all this different stuff. And what happens is you get focused in on minutia and you can't see the forest for the trees, and the person you're selling to ain't even at the forest yet. They're way back across a field, a bridge, a road, and other stuff, and can kind of see the forest on the horizon. So you kind of zoom out, like, to get to what's the big problem. So I'm not gonna, it's not
That's a
problem.
good
Oh,
point.
how to choose a title for your book, how to create a manuscript, how to come up with a book proposal, how to I, I don't know how to write a book, but I want one.
Right.
And so you zoom out and back. I don't know how to get to buds, and I don't know how long it's going to take. And so what you want to do is basically figure out what's the big thing. If you're sitting around drinking beer, drinking coffee, shooting the crap, and like, man, I'd love to write a book, but I don't know how. Man, I'd love to serve in special operations, but I just don't know how. Man, I know I got to make it through buds if I want to go blow stuff up. Um, it's like, but I don't know how to get through buds. I don't know how to put up a website. I don't know how to write a book. I don't know how to be a better leader. I don't know how to, it's that top level thing. And if you are really in your market, you want to get down here, but we most of the time need to zoom back up here. That's one of the things we struggle with copying content.ai. It's, I'm gonna show you how to use AI to do all this stuff and all these other things. It's like, yeah, I just want to figure out who the hell I'm gonna sell to, you know? And it got to constantly zoom back out. The other thing you can do is ask people. If you know who your audience is, hey, what are you really struggling with right now? What would you really like to do? And then a lot of times they'll tell you what they want to do, but it's symptom related. And so then you got to kind of zoom out from the symptom. Well, I got to get my run times down. Well, why do you got to get your run times down? Well, because I got to be able to pass my PT test. Well, why do you need to be able to pass your PT test? Well, because I want to get a X-ray contract. Well, why do you want to get an X-ray contract? Well, because I want to be a Green Beret. Oh, and if you want to be a Green Beret, what do you have to do? Well, what's the big thing you have to be able to do? What's your biggest problem? Well, I need to get to and through selection. Oh, okay. So what you're trying to find that spot where all of them are like, oh yeah, that's me. Now, is it perfect every time? No. But if you can make offers lickety split quick, you can figure it out pretty fast.
Now, is that how what you would call like making your offer irresistible? Like
Making
how do you do that? Like steps, boom, boom, boom.
the making your offer irresistible is a process of, first you got to define that big promise, and then you create a stack that people are like, holy crap, that's like Christmas, birthday, and Easter combined. And it resonates. It's checking off all those boxes for them about, oh, I won't have to know how to do this. I don't have to be able to do this. I don't have to have a huge list. And if I get stuck, they're going to help me. Holy crap, I need to send them my money before they raise the price, change their mind, or stop making the offer. That's how you do it. You do it by zoning in on that promise and getting really, really sharp with it, and then assembling a stack where they're like, holy crap. Now, what you also don't want to do is add on so much stuff that they're like, because remember, what's one of the biggest fears that somebody has? Wasting time. I want to get this done quick. So if there's 8,000 things here, that means there's probably more to this than I want to devote to it. So you also can't add so much stuff that they're like, crap, this is going to take forever. So like with your seal thing, you could take that book, create an offer. You could go nuts with that, man. I mean, you could include the kind of, get a pair of Bates boots or whatever the boots are that the guys are wearing. You can start running on them in the sand. Here's the right kind of flippers. Here's the right kind of goggles or whatever, so that when you're at the pool, you're doing this. I mean, you could add that kind of stuff and make a hellacious offer, but it also might be overkill.
True.
But you just test.
Yeah. What if my customer has so many objections, multiple ones in one area that I'm trying to make an offer? Like, what can I do to help them, if they don't have skills or resources or things like that?
So if it's overloaded in a certain area, and that's pretty normal, where, you might have skills and ability might be, or skills and knowledge, but one of those is just really overloaded. What you got to do is address that in the main offer, because you don't want to have so many if you don't know how to do this, here's this bonus. If you don't know how to do this, it's this bonus. That should be baked into the actual main component of your offer. That should solve those problems in and of itself. And you can also do, and this is more of a sales copy thing, but you can, if it's bad enough, you make it a component of buying. So if you don't know how to, and then you just start listing off, if you don't know how to do this, perfect. This is for you. This training is for you. This coaching is for you. This mastermind is for you. Now, on the flip side, you might have people who are like, dude, this sounds really complicated, and I can't even imagine the number of things that I'm worried about. You can take the flip side of that and say, you might be worried that this is too much for you. So here's a quick test to see if you have the skills and knowledge to be able to do this. And you say, can you, and then you list up, can you copy and paste? Do you know the difference between right and mouse click? Can you use Microsoft Word? Do you know how to download a file online? If you answered yes to these, then you have all the skills and knowledge you need to be able to do this.
Nice.
So that's another way, but that's more of a copywriting thing than an offer thing. But still.
You know what I like to do, Jim, is I like to offer a phone call with me before someone purchases, especially a big item. Because that enables me to adjust what they need, right? I ask them about their athletic history. I ask them about their time per day, days per week, how much equipment you have, right? And then I can start figuring out what they need me for.
And that what you're intuitively doing there is talking to the customer who kind of is responding to an offer of, hey, Stu Smith online coaching, but then you're assembling the offer stack, what's delivered based on that individual. That is great if you are in a position to be able to do that, but it is hard to scale that,
Oh, sure.
and you can't do it 24/7, 365,
No, that is
because
true.
then you get weirdos like me calling you. I didn't call you at 3 a.m, but I mean, I did it in reverse. Hey man, I just bought. What are we? When are we? Where's what? Where? And he's like, dude, calm down. Just stuff will come. Um, but I was excited.
Yes, of
So
course.
my point is that what you are just describing is creating a custom offer stack for somebody,
Right. Gotcha.
which is fine, and especially if you're doing coaching and things like that. But if you want to do something truly autopilot, setting up a legacy business, you have to be able to structure the thing in such a way that your ideal customer is like, holy crap, I need this.
Okay, let's do something a little more scalable then. How about if I'm just selling a class or a a product and I don't have any bonuses? What can I do then?
Okay. So if you are just selling a class, you're selling a coaching, you're selling something where it doesn't, you're either not able to offer bonuses, or it just doesn't make sense that you would have bonuses. Then what you want to do is, and it depends on where you're making the offer, how you're making the offer. Is it an e-commerce thing? Are you limited on what you can do, what you can display? But you basically want to do what I call a benefit stack, but a very specific one. So you want to have bullets that address the specific areas or concerns or objections. So again, knowledge, skill, resources, support. All right, let's use Stu's book, 12 Weeks to Bud's Navy SEAL's Guide to Fitness, whatever. Okay. You could have, I'm just going to riff these real quick. Okay. But a bullet, inside this book, you'll discover, or include with this book, is everything you need to know in order to get ready for Buds in 12 weeks and be ready to make it to and through selection. Skill, even if you are a high school kid whose only athletic training has been gym class, we give you everything you need to do. Resources includes links to videos where Stu shows you exactly how to perform specific exercises and evolutions to standard. And then support, you can even send in, we'll give you a special link where you could send in a video of your swimming or other stuff for a chance to have Stu critique it. Okay, that's just again riffing on it, but it's not offering anything, but it's explaining stuff that's in the book, benefits of the book, things that address those specific things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that can serve just as effectively as actually having bonuses. Oh yeah, it's got everything I need baked into it.
Nice. No, I love that.
So that's how you do it.
That gave me great ideas.
And the other thing is, if you're selling a class or a product that doesn't have bonuses, other option is add some freaking bonuses, Chuckles. Don't be lazy. Don't be a dork. Add some bonuses. Dig down in, think about it. The cool thing is, especially when most bonuses, unless it's a physical thing that you are shipping, like, buy a book, get a free t-shirt. Well, that stuff gets old after a while and gets expensive. All
Yeah.
right. But buy 10 books and get a t-shirt. That might be worth doing. But most of what we're talking about now in this day and age is bits and bytes. If it's not physical, it's digital. and figure out a way to create bonuses that you can make them one time and include them over and over and over and over, or charge enough money that if it includes some of your time, then it's highly leveraged, so that you're making 10, 20, 30, 40 times your usual hourly rate when it actually involves time with you.
Nice.
So, did we have any other questions from from the people who are here with us that we should hit?
I see one down here. How do I adapt my offer to several customer segments? Can I use one sales page or do I need several?
If they are significantly different customer segments, you should have a different sales page, a different landing page for each customer segment. And that is so easy to do now compared to how it used to be, that it's normally just a case of whatever software you're using, cloning it, going through, altering the language for that specific group, and well worth the effort. So Susan, do
Oh,
you? Oh, okay. If you want
there's.
to, if do you want Susan to jump in and help with questions too, or we're good?
I
I
see
just don't want
one
to miss
here.
any.
How do you value intangibles?
Typically, well, okay, that I could answer that a bunch of different ways, but like an intangible or something like that, normally what I'll do is call it priceless,
Ah,
which feels like cheating, but it's not.
that's a good one.
The ability to ask Jim a question, priceless. That's kind of that's one of the little cheat codes.
No, I
But
like
yeah,
that
if,
one.
if you don't
Also,
know how to
you
put a
know,
thing on it, put priceless on it. Go ahead.
you can hit an emotion with it as well. Like remember your bird build your birdhouse.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah. What's it
right.
worth to you to spend time with little Timmy to create a birdhouse that's going to sit out on that branch for 5, 10, 15, 20 years? He might even be able to have his son, your grandson, come and see that birdhouse and hear the story of how you all did that together to create memories that last for decades. You can't
Yeah.
put a price on that. Go ahead and buy that drill. What else? Oh, somebody said, please restate the 4 fears. Okay. What are the 4 fears that people have, that every adult has? Um, One is the fear of looking stupid. That's no, I mean, let's just
Yep.
cut brass tacks. They're afraid of looking dumb, either to themselves or others, which is, that's called loss of face. Making a mistake, okay, which is necessarily, that's tied to being stupid, but still. And then getting stuck. Oh crap. I'm halfway through this. I'm stuck. I'm missing a part. I'm missing a piece. And then wasting time. Those are the 4 biggest fears. And you're like, what about losing money? Well, that losing money results in feeling stupid. You don't lose money and then feel bad. You lose money and you feel bad because it shows you were stupid and made a mistake. The money thing's like tied in with the other stuff. Okay, those are the things that they are super afraid of. What
Makes
else?
sense.
Any others? Susan, are we missing any? Okay. Um so let me ask you guys a quick question. Folks. No, I'm going to say you guys. Hey guys. Guys can either be women or men,
That's
but
what I
it's,
say.
hey guys, what
Hey
did you
guys,
think
Stu
of?
Smith here, going live.
Hey guys, it's your old Uncle Jim. Um, what did you think of this presentation? Was it helpful? I'm just curious. I mean, I know some stuff I need to 4 desires. The 4 desires that I rattled off, page 16, copy and content, make money, save time, avoid effort, escape pain, achieve more cleanliness, feel more love, feel more popular, and there's other stuff I don't even remember.
That is an earmarked page in this baby.
Page 16. There's 100,000 people that have that earmarked.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, that's all I got. Stu, Susan, can you guys stick around for a minute? Debrief for like 2 secs?
You bet.
All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody. Hey, and by the way, if you like this training, you'll love what we got inside of copyandcontent.ai. You'll love the tools we have to help you create offers and offer stacks. We got crazy stuff in there. And 2 weeks from, in basically 2 weeks, I think it's on the 20th, Susan. What's the date? The 20th. On the 20th, we're going to be doing a real-time sprint where we together are going to be creating your offer in real time using the tools inside of copyandcontent.ai. We're going to be introducing the new offer profile wizard so that you'll be able to mix and match your avatars and your offers, all kinds of amazing stuff going on. And so if you're not a member, you need to be. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.